Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Donna and I make faith-based content here on YouTube. If this is something that you're interested in, please keep watching. So lately we've been talking about stewardship, and these are things that God has given us authority over, things that we need to take care of. So in the book of Genesis, God gave us dominion over the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, the animals of the land, and things of that sort. God also gave us talents, and today we'll be talking about those talents. God meant for us to preserve our talents, to take care of or nurture our talents. So some talents are natural or we are born with them, and other talents are things that we discover along the way. So you may find that certain things came to you later on, like maybe at 10 years old or at 20, at 30, and you practiced until you became good at those things. So there are different types of talents altogether, and today we'll be taking a look at them overall. Our main scriptural reference for today comes from the book of Luke chapter 19 verse 11 to 27. Now this same story comes also from Matthew chapter 25 verse 14 to 30, so there's a similar version. These are what we call parables, and they are earthly stories with a heavenly meaning. Most of these parables were shared by Jesus in the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which is why you'll find the same parable is available in one other Bible book. Luke chapter 19 verse 11 says, "While the people were listening to this, Jesus continued and told them a parable. He was now almost at Jerusalem, and they supposed that the kingdom of God was just about to appear. So he said, there was once a man of high rank who was going to a country far away to be made king, after which he planned to come back home. Before he left, he called his 10 servants and gave them each a gold coin and told them, 'See what you can earn with this while I am gone.' Now his own people hated him, and so they sent messengers after him to say, 'We don't want this man to be our king.' The man was made king and came back. At once he ordered his servants to appear before him in order to find out how much they had earned. The first one came and said, 'Sir, I have earned 10 gold coins with the one you gave me.' 'Well done,' he said, 'you are a good servant. Since you are faithful in small matters, I'll put you in charge of 10 cities.' The second servant came and said, 'Sir, I have earned 5 gold coins with the ones you gave me.' To this one he said, 'You'll be in charge of 5 cities.' Another servant came and said, 'Sir, here is your gold coin. I kept it hidden in a handkerchief. I was afraid of you because you are a hard man. You take what is not yours and reap what you did not sow.' He said to him, 'You bad servant, I will use your own words to condemn you. You know what I am. You know that I am a hard man, taking what is not mine and reaping what I have not sown. Well then, why don't you put my money in the bank? Why didn't you put my money in the bank? Then I would have received it back with interest when I returned.' Then he said to those who were standing there, 'Take the gold coin away from him and give it to the servant who has 10 coins. But they said to him, 'Sir, he already has 10 coins.' 'I tell you,' he said, 'that to all those who have something, even more will be given. But to those who have nothing, even the little that they have will be taken away from them. Now as for those enemies of mine who do not want me to be their king, bring them here and kill them in my presence.'" May the Lord bless the reading of his word. I think I've shared the story of the parable of the gold coins before. It's also called the story of the 10 talents, I should think. So gold coins are also known as talents. We learn a lot from this story. First of all, we learn about accountability. When you are given something, you need to take care of it. So accountability is when you are responsible for something and you use it in the way that you should. We look at the servant who was given the gold coins. So the one who said, I have earned 10 gold coins with the one you gave me. So basically he invested it. So he was very accountable for what he had been given and even invested it, and more was given. Same as the other one who was given the 5 cities as well. He was also someone who decided, I will invest in this, and the master was so proud that he gave him 5 cities. But we get that one who had that one talent or one gold coin and decided that he would just hide it in his handkerchief in fear of losing it perhaps, and disappointed his master. It also then relates to our own talents as people. God has given us all talents. There are certain people whom I hear at times saying, I don't have a talent, I don't have, something that I can use to glorify God per se. And the thing is, you don't realize that the ability to speak is a talent. The ability to cook is a talent. The ability to engage with others is a talent. The ability to garden, to sing, to bake, those are all talents that we need to use to glorify God. A lot of people, like I've said, will say, I don't have talents, but literally, you are a person in yourself, a person who can think. That thought process, the way you process information, the way you see things, your own view as a person is a talent. And I will give you examples of how you can use your talents for the glory of God. Now, I'll say, I like baking, I like cooking, and I always thought I'd have a bakery, a little business for, for baking and make some money. And I do that here and there, but I realize that I find more joy in baking for friends and family, and that brings joy unto other people. And so that's a talent. I learned how to bake when I was very young because my mother and my sisters loved baking. And it's something that I nurtured in school as well. So I did do food and nutrition when I was in school. And I then watched some YouTube videos on how to decorate and pipe and things like that. I'll insert some photos of the things that I make. And so that's a talent. I was in certain clubs in school, like debate and public speaking. And I found myself using those very talents, like here on my YouTube platform. In church, I speak sometimes. I also sing. I serve in my praise and worship team. And so those are talents that God has given me, which I in turn use for other people. Sometimes I share my poetry here on this channel. I actually am a creative writer as well, and I would love to one day write a book. So little things that you have, the capabilities that you have, that you think, oh, this can be just for me or whatnot, are actually talents you can use to serve God. If you're someone who loves cooking, you can actually cook for and help your congregation in their hospitality team. You're someone who loves gardening, you can garden even at home, or garden for someone else, or help someone, maybe, for example, the elderly who can no longer take care of their gardens. If you're someone who's crafty, you can knit up a little blanket or a little jacket for a newborn baby. You can do so many things, but the point is you need to use your talents for the glory of God. Otherwise, that talent will be taken away from you. Another lesson, apart from accountability, is respect for that person. There were people who plotted against that person to kill him. There were people who spoke ill of that person, that man who then became king. And it sort of reminds me about Jesus. If you look at this story actually reminds us about Jesus and about God. How certain people plotted against Jesus, how they didn't like him, how they spoke evil against him. Yet he is this very creator who has given us our talents. He's a very creator who rules over us regardless. And it sort of reminds me about how he gives us talents and we hide away our talents, like the person who hid away their talent in a handkerchief. We hide away our talents and we sit on them and we don't use them. That doesn't really show respect for our master. It doesn't show regard for his feelings, respect for him, and reverence for him as a king. And that is one lesson that that should actually impact us, that we need to respect him. Another lesson is that what you have can be taken away. So if you sit on your talent, if you ignore your talent, if you don't use it, you could easily lose it. Sometimes you lose it because you don't practice. Sometimes literally you can actually lose it. Like certain people will tell you that I used to be a good singer, I used to this, and then my voice did this. I sometimes feel like it could just be a punishment for not using our talents. So those capabilities can literally be taken away from us by God because we do not want to use our talents. So it's just a reminder, use your talent. And I'm not saying God is harsh or, he doesn't care about us, or he literally wants to do harm to us, but he is fair. If you're not going to use something, then you might as well give it to someone who can use it. And then the last thing that I would say is invest in your talents. So when we say investing, we're talking about nurturing your talents, investing time, putting time into making your talents better than before. So when I talked about baking, so I used to be someone who initially, I've known how to bake for a while, but there were times when I would stop practicing. So when I didn't practice, my cakes didn't come out well, things would flop. I decided to be consistent, decided to practice, put time into it. So there are certain things that you need to do to put time into the gifts and talents that God has given you, so that you are able to grow that thing, to make it better than what it was before. Invest and nurture into it. So that's how you steward the things that God has given you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. I tried to keep it nice, short and sweet, so that you don't get bored, but also because I just love talking about these things, because God wants us to steward or take care of the things that he has given us. I hope you will share this with someone, and I hope that it has made your day. I will see you in the next video, as I will be sharing a testimony about stewardship of talents. So I hope you stay on the lookout for that one. Without further ado, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.